speakers to settle down. Thank you so much. That video is not coming up.
Completely forget about it because see, this is unpardonable. 10 minutes of this one. You start and cancel.
Okay, fine.
Cancel. Which video ka problem hai na?
No, it's okay.
It's okay. Yeah. Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, esteemed guests, faculty members, and dear students, welcome to this special edition marking the 75 years of ethical leadership at XLRI. This is the Diamond Jubilee year, and we are celebrating our 75th year. And on that particular occasion, we are conducting a series of conferences, and Ethics International Conference is one of them. So today we gather not only to commemorate the rich legacy and ethics and values that XLRI stands for, but also to reflect on our journey towards fostering social and business responsibility in our globalized world. XLRI, founded in 1949, has been at the forefront of nurturing leaders who not only excel in their professional fields, but uphold the highest ethical standards in their endeavors. In fact, XLRI is very proud to say that we tagged and tapped upon the ethical leadership, business ethics part of it, and we will be discussing more by our esteemed guests on this particular topic. So as we celebrate our Diamond Jubilee, it's imperative to acknowledge the visionaries and leaders who have shaped XLRI into this esteemed institution, which is today. And the motto is, as you all know, ad maius bonum, that is for the greater good. But let me pause my speaking here and let's start a video for it. I would request to play the video. And the audio also. Right? Full screen.
In the year 1900, Jamshedpur Tata transformed Zakshi village into an industrial city. In honor of its founder, Zakshi was renamed Jamshedpur in 1917. In this city XLRI was born.
It was in 1947, the Belgian missionaries of Calcutta Jesuit province started Loyola school in Jamshedpur. Just a year after, Father John Baptist Janssens, the then Superior General of the Society of Jesus, created the independent Jamshedpur mission, effective from 12th March 1948, and entrusted it to the care of Maryland Jesuit province of the United States.
The story of XLRI's birth is very interesting. In January 1949, a junior officer from Tata Steel, holding an article published in Reader's Digest, approached Father John Holland. The article was about Father Philip Carey's labor school at Fordham University. The officer urged the Jesuits to start a similar labor school in Jamshedpur. He persisted, saying, "If you Jesuits do not work on this, no one will. And I have full faith in you that you can and you will do it." It was a difficult challenge, but Jesuits welcomed the idea, deliberated on it, and presented to Father David Nugent, the Provincial of Maryland. Within 2 months, Father Nugent approved the proposed plan for a labor school, suggesting either Father Enright or Father Blandin be entrusted with the responsibility. The lot fell on Father Enright and was appointed as the director of the proposed institute. Uncertain about the huge task ahead, putting his trust in God, on October 11, 1949, under the name Xavier Labor Relations Institute, XLRI, Father Enright not only fulfilled the desire of the Tata Steel officer, but also made it a mission of the Jesuits with an exalted motto, that is, "You shall renew the face of the earth." It was a small but a humble beginning. Thus, XLRI became the first institution of the newly created Jamshedpur Jesuit mission. Today, it stands tall and firm on Jesuit values for the greater good.
Father Enright formed a core committee and started operating XLRI from Boulevard Hotel in Bistupur, holding classes in KMPM school. The institute had two divisions, Labor School and Graduate School. Labor School helped in the development of progressive and peaceful labor relations. The Graduate School provided opportunities to college graduates with a master's program in labor and social welfare started in 1952. The first batch of XLRI's master's program graduated in 1955 from Loyola School campus. XLRI believes in the vision to be an institution of excellence nurturing global leaders for the greater common good and a sustainable future. To realize this vision, initially Tata Steel offered its land for XLRI measuring 4.6 acres. The efforts of Jesuit fathers, Enright, McGrath, Holland, Deneen, Leeming, and others laid a strong foundation for a renowned XLRI brand as the iconic administrative building was inaugurated in 1962. XLRI's impact on society is worth mentioning. In the 60s, XLRI started a popular one-month program to the union members in various steel centers like Durgapur, Rourkela, Bokaro, Bhilai, and Jamshedpur. Eventually the Steel Workers Federation decided to take over this program, and with the help of XLRI, they set up Steel Workers Union College in Kadma, Jamshedpur. Father Norman played a crucial role in building up the initial infrastructure. In 1972, the President of India Shri V.V. Giri inaugurated XLRI's Sir Jahangir Gandhi Library. To meet the demands of better infrastructure, the Tata Steel leased out an additional 36 acres of land in the subsequent years, making it a vast 40 acres beautiful campus with lawns, gardens, forest cover, pathways, and well-designed buildings. The growth of XLRI caught the eyes of the Chief Minister of Orissa Shri J.B. Patnaik and invited XLRI to start a similar kind of institute in the state of Orissa. XLRI established an independent B school, Xavier Institute of Management in Bhubaneswar in 1987. Charismatic directors like Romuald, Thomas P.D., Casimir Raj and Father Abraham played a major role in shifting the gears for a faster growth of XLRI. XLRI encourages its students to be socially sensitized and to contribute their might for the upliftment of the underprivileged. The student committees organize awareness drives, workshops for school children, counseling sessions, literacy programs, blood donation camps, classes for the underprivileged, plantation drive and Observe Joy of Giving Week. In 2017, XLRI acquired 50 acres of land in Delhi NCR. 2 years later 50 acres in Amravati, Andhra Pradesh, and 47 acres near Mumbai. No doubt XLRI has traveled a long distance with a definite and clear purpose. As we celebrate the Platinum Jubilee of XLRI, we fondly remember and thank all the Jesuit provincials who stood by the Institute in difficult times. We thank and salute our mission superiors and provincials, along with the directors who served XLRI, Jesuit Fathers Quinn Enright, Edward McGrath, William Tome, J.M. Kennedy, Theo Matthias, Norman, Romuald, John Guidera, Thomas P.D., Casimir Raj, Abraham, Christie, Paul and S. George. XLRI has been privileged to have chairmen who were supportive in our mission. Starting from Sir Jahangir Gandhi, R.S. Pandey, Rusi Modi, Saroj Gandhi, J.J. Irani, Muthuraman, Nehru, and currently T.V. Narendran, when the month of March comes, there is joy and jubilation in the life of every member of XL family. The academic year comes to an end, job offers on the one hand and diploma in other hand. We cannot stop but join the celebrations of the parents and students. A memorable day, the annual convocation of XLRI.
I am glad to be part of the Platinum Jubilee here. We celebrate the legacy of XLRI's excellence by being grateful to the Society of Jesus, all the chairmen, board of directors, faculty, staff, and benefactors who have served XLRI in the past and are currently serving with the dedication and trust. A vibrant student body and support of the alumni give hope and encouragement. We cannot remain complacent. We need to march ahead as one XL family. Together, we need to strive towards XLRI becoming a university, expanding Delhi NCR campus, opening Mumbai and Amaravati campuses, strengthening research and publication, adapting our academic programs to meet the industry needs, and becoming a globally recognized institute of eminence. I have full confidence in all of you that together as a team, we will rise to the occasion and see ourselves best in our vision and mission.
Thank you so much for your patience. I would request.
Now I would like to invite on the stage Father George Sebastian, Director XLRI Jamshedpur, Father Donald Silva, Dean Admin Finance XLRI, Father Zeri Kutina, Professor Jeff Thies, he is joining us online from USA, Ms. Soni Sinha, Mr. Amit Raj Sinha, Father Kuruvila, Professor H.K. Pradhan. I would request all these dignitaries to light the lamp along with the prayer song.
We'll start the prayer song now. You can take volume for this.
शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्परब्रह्म दीपज्योतिर्जनार्दनः दीपज्योतिर्परब्रह्म दीपज्योतिर्जनार्दनः दीपो हरतु मे पापम् सन्ध्यादीपनमोऽस्तुते ओ दीपब्रह्मरूपस्त्वं ज्योतिषां प्रभुरव्ययः ओ दीपब्रह्मरूपस्त्वं ज्योतिषां प्रभुरव्ययः आरोग्यं देहि पुत्रांश्च
Thank you so much, dignitaries.
स्वच्छामि मे सदा रवेरस्य
I would request everyone to take the seats, the dignitaries. I would request Father George to felicitate the guest speakers, Professor Jeff Thies, virtually, and Mr. Amit Raj Sinha for the felicitation. Professor Jeff Thies is an assistant professor in the Department of Management at the College of Business Administration, Loyola University, and Mr. Amit Raj Sinha. And Mr. Amit Raj Sinha has been an alumnus of IIM Ahmedabad and ISB and is currently MD and CEO of Sigachi Industries Limited with over 27 years of strategic leadership across pharma, healthcare, and operations. A big round of applause for all our dignitaries here. I would request Father Donald to felicitate the guest speaker, Ms. Soni Sinha, an alumnus of our very own XLRI Jamshedpur of 2003 batch. A big round of applause, guys. She's the Chief Ethics Counselor at Tata Steel, holding the responsibility of implementing the management of business ethics framework. As an erstwhile head of corporate planning at Tata Steel, she has led the annual business plans, long-term planning, and strategy development.
Now I request Father Kuru to facilitate our esteemed dignitary Father Jerry Thies and Professor H.K. Pradhan. Father Jerry Kutina SJ is the president of the Jamshedpur Jesuit Society and a member of the Board of Governors of XLRI Jamshedpur. He holds a doctorate in economics from the University of Madras, Chennai. Dr. H.K. Pradhan has been a professor of finance and economics at XLRI Jamshedpur with an illustrious 35 years of experience in teaching, research, and consulting. Now, I would request our beloved Father George, Director XLRI Jamshedpur, to deliver the welcome address and set the tone of the conference.
Good morning to you all. I take this occasion to welcome you all to be part of our Jubilee celebration, 75 years, 1949 to 2024. It is a long journey, and because of our committed Jesuits, faculties, and faculties were working for nothing in the beginning. It took long time for us to financially sustainable. So it is the hard work of the initial professors, staff, and the management which really played the key role in establishing XLRI. And for the provincial, and Mr. Amit Raj, Ms. Soni Sinha, and Donald, and Kurvila H.K. Pradhan, our senior faculty, and he still writes research papers and actively teaches, and other faculties of XLRI, those who have come here, and of course, the participants, the guests of this event. So welcome to you all. A few words, as they have already said, XLRI, the motto for Jubilee year is aspire beyond. Otherwise, our general motto is greater good, and title line is excellence with integrity. The reason is this both should go in hand. Only excellence and no integrity. That is the definition of a psychopath. So only integrity and no excellence, that person is a good person, but good for nothing, because nothing much is going to take place because of that goodness. So it is both should go in hand. That is excellence and integrity. Integrity is basically having a long-term vision, good for oneself and for others. Inclusiveness and bringing together. The conference purpose is exactly that. It's integrity and ethics, because increasingly it is becoming, it's not so far it was just for a talk. We were having, XLRI was the first management institute to introduce ethics as a core course. Then of course now we have supplemented with sustainability courses, and we started long back, even before anyone could think about it. So we have a long legacy when it comes to ethics and care for the society and care for everyone. So today we have great opportunity, and ethics is one thing, it's not preached upon, that is useless. Telling one thing, doing other thing, that is the worst thing than not talking about it. So we always tell in our faculty meeting, if you are talking anything connected with ethics, ask the first question, are you practicing it? Because unless we practice and communicate, it has no effect. And it has a negative effect, rather bringing the best in the students and all our participants. Once again, I thank you all for coming to XLRI on this Jubilee year, and I'm sure you will have a good time and explore all the avenues of XLRI, library, sports, everything, and have a pleasant and memorable stay. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Father, for the motivating speech. Father George, I would also request you to kindly felicitate Professor H.K. Pradhan. Our apologies, we missed it out during the series. Thank you so much, sir. I would now request Father Jerry to please come on stage and to provide his blessings and the conversations that we are expecting from our ethics conference.
Honorable Chief Guest, Mr. Amit Sinha, Guest of Honor, Ms. Soni Sinha, student, faculty, staff, alumni, and esteemed guests. As we gather at this conference, our collective mission to integrate social and business responsibility is more important than ever. The messages that we have received affirm our deep responsibility and dedication to this cause. In his message, Reverend Father Arturo Sosa, S.J., the Superior General of the Jesuits, reflects on the transformative power of education, emphasizing its role in developing not only skilled professionals, but also individuals deeply rooted in ethical awareness. He underscores the Jesuit mission to educate leaders who prioritize the common good and engage in compassionate capital, which are echoed in the values that XLRI upholds. Father Sosa's words are an affirmation of XLRI's dedication to nurturing leaders who are committed to making a positive societal impact through their professional endeavors. The Governor of Jharkhand, Sri C.P. Radhakrishnan, in his message, applauded XLRI for its commitment to ethical leadership. This recognition reflects XLRI's commitment to the lasting legacy of St. Francis Xavier, wherein the Institute remains dedicated to shaping leaders with strong moral values and genuine care for the well-being of the society. Father Jerome Stanislaus de Souza, S.J., the President of Jesuit Conference of South Asia, in his message, highlighted seminal role of Jesuit education in fostering societal transformation. He emphasized that XLRI embodies transformational leadership that empowers individuals to become agents of positive change, echoing the Jesuit ideal of forming men and women for others. Professor Wilhelm Guggenberg, Dean of the Faculty of Catholic Theology, University of Innsbruck, Austria, addresses the essence of the Jesuit mission, advocating for the ethical principle that reach beyond academic realms into global actions. He champions sustainable practices as a response to global challenges, urging leaders to uphold integrity with moral consciousness. Mr. T.V. Narendran, Global CEO and MD of Tata Steel and Chairman of the Board of Governors, XLRI, in his message, applauds XLRI for its role in championing ethical leadership and upholding the educational ethos that shapes leaders for the greater good. He appreciates how XLRI balances professional excellence with ethical fortitude and societal consideration. Dear members of this august assembly, as we collectively embrace Jesuit ideals of cura personalis, meaning care for the whole person, and magis, meaning for greater good or evermore, we called upon to go beyond merely achieving success to a dedication to the welfare of all. The spirit of XLRI's Platinum Jubilee implores us to be creative, daring, and competent as we navigate the global business landscape, remaining steadfast in our pursuit of justice, compassion, and ethics. Dear scholars, practitioners, and future leaders, let this conference serve as a hub of innovation where our strategies and pledges shape a fresh model that harmonizes profit with environmental care and social fairness. Together, let's shape a world where business success is measured by its contribution to the common good. Thank you, and God bless you all.
Thank you, Father Jerry, and I'm sure we'll follow your advice and suggestions in letter and spirit. I would now like to request
Now I'd like to request Father Kuru to facilitate Father George and Donald. Father.
a big round of applause. Thank you, Father Kuru. I would now like to request Father Donald, Dean, Admin and Finance XLRI, to discuss the role of GRD Tata Foundation and the role of ethics in our business schools.
Good morning, everyone, and hearty welcome to XLRI. On behalf of XLRI family, Father George, Father Provincial, Father Kuru, Professor H.K. Pradhan, and on behalf of our dignitaries, Mr. Amit and Ms. Soni Sinha, extend warm welcome once again. And this conference is a special conference. Why? Because we are dealing with ethics. It has a long history. Father George just talked about how XLRI over the years grew with the ethics and integrity, excellence and integrity, values and integrity, all that is there. But right person to talk about this ethics foundation is Ms. Soni, the Chief Ethics Officer of Tata Steel, and Father Kuru, who is the Chair Professor of GRD Tata Ethics Foundation at XLRI. So they are the people who are working on this. Constantly they're in touch, and this chair is sponsored by Tata Steel, and I would like to thank Tata Steel for over the years helping us to achieve this goal and carry on promoting the ethics in business. The medium is very simple. We train students and at the same time try to inculcate these values and promote the values of Tata Steel's business ethics to others, our stakeholders. Therefore, it is very crucial, and this foundation has been very successful. And Chair Professors, Father Ozzy was there, he worked very hard, and now Father Kuruvilla has taken over, and he is new to this job, but he is doing a lot of things in a short period of time. He has already proved it. But my personal experience about this Tata Steel's business ethics is where we got inspiration and we started this chair at XLRI. Going back to 1 century, this city was founded on this value, is ethics. If you see Tata Steel's city planning, I take pride in sharing this to everyone wherever I go. And I'm very proud, and every citizen of Jamshedpur is proud of Tata Steel. I don't think anybody has any problem with Tata Steel. I have fallen in love with Tata Steel for the services Tata Steel does to every citizen of Jamshedpur. Why? Because everybody has a place, and everybody is cared for. If you see the planning, you will see a place which was in the original township planning. You have place for masjid, allotted, earmarked, place for a church, place for temples, place for schools, place for relaxation, the gardens, place for parks, place for business. And everything is so well designed. Everybody has a place in Jamshedpur. And it was thought more than 100 years ago. It's nothing new. And others took this model and tried to implement, and I don't think anybody has succeeded, as Tata Steel is perceiving this efforts more than 130 years, 40 years now. It's going on, but they have not left the original idea of Jamshedji Tata. Still, that is actually giving them energy, and that I can call it as a soul of entire effort of Tata Steel. So I'm very happy to at least remember, speak, and also see how they have transferred their values to us. In 1925, now why this foundation? JRD Tata comes into picture 1925 as just an internee, unpaid internee. Today, how many of us want to work for somebody for not being paid, by not getting paid? Even the interns want, now they ask for how much compensation I'll get as an intern. But JRD Tata joined as a intern in 1925. In 1938, I think, took over as a group chair. But he insisted that caring, not just business, and he wanted to go beyond business. So his conversation with people wherever he went, he said, we are not interested in making money. We are interested in making business with ethics and values. So you cannot separate. Otherwise, you would have had the entire country filled with the Tata companies only. In no time, they would have not only doubled, they would have had by now 500 companies. Said, no, that is not our motto. Our motto is not making business. We have a responsibility, social responsibility, caring people, our employees. So the bonus came in some profit. So ethics is not just a code of conduct for them. It is beyond caring, beyond code of conduct, rules and regulations. It is to do with caring their employees. If at all they made some profit those days, in 1970s, they thought about sharing that profit with the employees. So the bonus came in. So anything that you see today in the Indian government, whether be it CSR, bonus, increment, and all these incentives, allowances, everything is copied from Tata Steel. It's because Tata Steel went beyond just making, running the business. So this is not a just activity, it is a virtue. They call it, it's a virtue. And this virtue has to be inculcated by other businesses. Some are trying, some have succeeded in copying something, but majority is not interested in, they're interested in profit. Now, some of the conversations, if you recorded conversations, if you see, there are laws, and in finances, finance professor is here, there are loopholes everywhere in the taxation. You can evade taxes. There are many ways the finance consultants will help you to how to evade taxes legally. So when JRD Tata was questioned about that, his officer came with the consultant and told, it seems, sir, this can be done legally and we can evade these taxes, you need not pay. He said, no, it's nothing to do with evading taxes. We will you will look at the compliance part, not the evasion, but compliance. And ask every time, are we doing the right thing? If this question is answered at every stage, if you are doing the right thing, then you should do only right thing. Do not try to say, legally we are allowed, we will not be caught, but we can still save some taxes. That is not the motto. That itself shows the mind of great JRD Tata. So then again in 1960s, now we are talking about CSR. It took so many years for the government to say 2% of this profit has to be spent on society. But in 1968 or 69, when he called his managers and said, look around your business centers and see how they are living there. What is their living condition? Do they have water, electricity, road, sanitation, all that? Said you must do service to the neighborhood. And that is how giving has got into Tata Steel's entire enterprise. They are giving, therefore they are receiving. I believe in this. The more you give, more you will receive. The more you lend to others, God will bless you. Don't expect to just receive. Always try to give. In giving, you receive. So these ideals in 1980s or 1991, to be precise, XLRI took it seriously and thought, why not we collect Tata group of companies and see how we can promote this ethics in the institute. We have students, we have MDPs, we conduct training programs. So we can transfer these ideas, ethics, values to our stakeholders. That is how Tata's J.R.D. Tata Ethics Foundation was born at XLRI. Ever since, Tata Steel has not left us, and we have not left them. And they are sponsoring this chair. And a lot of activities are going on, training programs, in-company programs, writing research papers. Father Ozzy wrote books also. And through these, the literature, classroom teaching, training programs, taking up the projects, we are promoting ethics in business. So thank you very much, and more you will hear when you discuss several papers, and you will have several questions. And the right person, I said in the beginning, Miss Soni and Father Kuru, you ask more about this foundation, and this is what I felt I should share. So thank you very much, and have a great day and a good conference, very fruitful conference. Thank you.
Thank you, Father. Thank you for letting us know the virtuous history of J.R.D. Tata. And we will continue the conversations now. I would now like to request our guest of honor, Ms. Soni Sinha, Chief Ethics Officer, Tata Steel, to share her insights on business ethics and responsibilities. Over to you, Soni, ma'am. A big round of applause, please.
So very good morning to everyone. Thank you. First of all, let me thank XLRI for giving me this opportunity to share our thoughts over here. I'm standing here on behalf of Tata Steel, and thanks to Father Donald for setting the context so beautifully. I think hardly anything left for me to speak about what Tata's ethics of Tata Steel. So I will have to think about other things to speak on. Thank you, Father George, Guru, for having me here. A very warm welcome to all our dignitaries, the chief guests, the participants. And thank you, Father Guru, for conceptualizing this conference and having a discussion on this subject. This is a very, very important subject, and as Father Donald correctly said, that while as a group we have been implementing this concept right from our inception, and I'll come to that subject, the world around is now talking about it in terms of many, I'll say, themes, but the current buzzword is ESG. So wherever you go, you will have talks, you will have subjects, you will have papers on ESG, environment, societal, and governance. So this is what is becoming extremely important to all the investors. When they're looking at any organization, they look at the organization not only from the perspective of profit, but also what they are doing for the society, how they are governing it, and why they are looking at it. Why investors are so worried about the ESG framework. It is because The people who give us money, the customers are looking for it. The customers want to do business with an organization which is sustainable, which is ethical, which has got a good governance practice. And why so? Because we have numerous examples, organization overnight coming down because somewhere they have gone wrong. We have ample examples, Satyam being one of them. We saw what happened when there was a case on Maggi. Overnight, Maggi had to withdraw all their packets from all across India. So it has a huge impact on the business, and that is why it's important that investors look at this framework. Recently, COP28 concluded in Dubai. And there also, while a lot of discussion is going on climate change, what is going to happen, but not much actions were being taken. But this time when the people, the organization, the country got together, they understood that limiting the climate to 1.5 degrees C is becoming a challenge. So by 2050, how we can stop using renewable energy in our power sector. So all these discussions are going on. The world over, people are realizing whatever the business people are doing, that the resources which we are drawing for doing business is from this one world. This belongs to the society, and if we don't take care of this world, this society, the business will not sustain. COVID is another example. We saw what one pandemic could do to society, to business. The world never thought how it could stop because of pandemic. So you can have lots and lots of money in your bank, but you will not have a hospital bed. You will have lots and lots of money in the bank, you will have materials in your stores, but you will not have people to convert into products and services. So, and if you see after this, the world's, the business commitment to this entire framework is more and more increasing. The writing is clear on the wall. Business has to be more responsible. They have to be accountable for the products and services they are making, what they are doing across, I'll say, their supply chain. Coming back to India, if you will see, SEBI has implemented BRSR, which this is business responsibility and sustainability reporting. The top 1,000 companies, as per market capitalization, have to mandatorily submit this report. 2023 being the first year, we also, as part of that, has to submit this report. And while we are going through developing this report, what are the main aspects they are asking for? They are asking for how you are doing your business ethically in a responsible way. Are you measuring it? The product and services, is it sustainable? Are you taking care of your stakeholders, your contract employees? So all, and we have to show it through KPIs, how many people trained, how do you take, whether there is a platform where people can raise their concerns, the human right aspect, all these aspects are built into BRSR. So SEBI also, which was only worried about till now how the organizations are doing financially, is now worried about the ethical aspect of an organization. So if you look at it from all aspects, this subject is becoming more and more important. We cannot see ethics as a separate subject than finance or a business strategy. It has to be integrated into the business strategy of an organization. If I come to Tata Steel, we have clearly two very important vision elements. One is being benchmark in value creation, which is about customer centricity, being profit, and in the same breath, we have being benchmark in corporate citizenship, where we have clearly laid down, I'll say KPIs, how many people we will touch through our CSR activities, what we'll do for our employees, what we will do for the society, clearly laid down KPIs. And it has not happened after the BRSR or integrated reporting. It has been there as a part of our vision and element right from the beginning. And thanks to our founders, thanks to the way we have been set up, we are there for more than 100 years, and very few companies in the world would be flourishing even after 100 plus years. And one reason why we are there, because it's of our value system, and everyone across the organization, leadership, understands this and acknowledges that that is one reason why you are there. And here I would like to quote our founder, two very important quotes, and I think these are my favorites, and hence I would like to share with you. The first one is by our founder, with Mr. J.N. Tata. I quote, "With honest and straightforward business principles, close and careful attention to details, and the ability to take advantage of favorable opportunity and circumstances, there is a scope for success." Now, Mr. J.R.D. Tata, on whom this chair has been formulated, "No success or achievement is in material terms is worthwhile unless it serves the needs or interests of the country and its people and is achieved by fair and honest means." This is what Father Donald was telling, that had we adopted any other means, we would have grown multifold times, but that was not the purpose of the organization. From the beginning itself, the purpose was this community, purpose was giving back to the stakeholders. And from beginning itself, stakeholder meant community, meant vendors, meant people, society, community, everyone. So that founding philosophy has been so important and ingrained into the DNA of the organization. It's a very simple subject, I don't think it requires a lot of research to understand what it means. The difficult part is implementing it. The difficulty is that you believe that this is going to give you value back. And that is why where most of the businesses struggle. They think that this is good to have as a poster, as a code put on the walls, but not good to implement because it will hamper my financial performance. And that is what creates difference between one organization and another organization. Thankfully for us, this is an organization which has always believed in the ethical values and principles. It's difficult because everyone in the value chain has to demonstrate this values and principle every time they are interacting with the external world. Because one person goes wrong and the entire brand value comes down. And that is why it's so important to have a systematic approach to implementing this structure in an organization. Very few companies would have a full-fledged ethics department doing this work day in and day out. I'm proud to say that my responsibility is solely implementing ethics in the entire organization, and I have a team who is doing that. Not many organizations will have a person dedicated only on ethics working for this. So that is the beauty. Now I'll talk about how do you implement it. How do you systematically implement it? Some few important 5 steps which I'll share with you. First is having the code laid down very, very clearly. What are our values and principle has to be laid down very clearly. While we had our philosophy, we had these founding principles, everyone was aligned to it. But in 1998, Mr. Ratan Tata realized that we need to have this code verbalized, codified, and written down very clearly, because as we are expanding, everyone will not have the same understanding. So it was in 1998 that it was codified into Tata Code of Conduct. it is coincidental that we are now celebrating 25 years of Tata Code of Conduct at Tata Steel also. So I think 75 and 25 makes it 100th century. So so Code of Conduct is very, very important. Now you may have the best code articulated, a perfect code, but until and unless you bring it into practice, it still remains a booklet put in somewhere, or I'll say poster put it on the walls. So for this, the leadership commitment is extremely important. And how do leaders commit? They consistently communicate it, demonstrate it through their decisions they make, very tough decisions at times to make. But you need to make those decisions. They have to be totally committed to this subject. So that is again very important. The third aspect is governance structure. Putting a systematic governance structure where people can raise their concern. We have an elaborate whistleblowing concept, different platforms where people can reach out and share their concerns with us. Third-party helpline, anonymous concerns. So we give various platforms for people to reach out to us. And once they have reached out to us, how do you address those concerns? Again, is very important. Each concern needs to be investigated, addressed, closed in a comprehensive manner. That is very, very important to build the trust in the entire organization that this is a code which is working and I can trust it. What company is saying, I can see that it is implementing. And various committees, uniform consequences, all these are part of the governance structure and which is very, very important. Communication is one of, I'll say it's heart of the entire ethics. Communicating what our policies are, communicating what we are doing, communicating what is not acceptable. It's a continuous journey, and every day, every moment you need to keep reinforcing some of these better things. And last but not the least, the fifth aspect is taking feedback from people. Whether what we are doing is working or we do need to do something else, So this is the feedback loop which gets into your system, and you need to keep revisiting your policies, keep revisiting the governance structure based on what input we are getting. And believe me, this is a cycle which has to go on every day, every moment. It's not that we have implemented it 25 years so we can relax. Because every day new challenges are coming, new people are coming into your system, different organizations. For us, we have different organizations now merging with us. So we had Bhushan, Usha Martin, NINL, all these organizations merging with us. Right from day one, the first thing, opening day requirement was that ethics has to be built into the new organization. The Tata Code of Conduct has to be implemented. And the Tata Code of Conduct is about everything: responsibility, safety, ethics, integrity, everything. So it has to be implemented. So when I see down the line now, Bhushan is around 5 years, and NINL also now will be having 2 years, Usha Martin another. People mostly are same, the equipments remain same. With the same equipment, with the same people, we are doing better because the culture has changed. It's the culture which has changed and which has brought difference in these organizations, and that is what I'll say, these are clear demonstration of what a good culture can do to an organization with everything remaining the same. And that is what I think world over people are realizing, businesses are realizing. Ethics has to be, ethical aspect has to be integrated into our business decisions. It has to be integrated into the strategies, into what we are doing, because this is a world which we have inherited. It's not we have inherited, and we have to pass it on to the future generation, keep it safe for them. Business has to operate in a responsible and accountable manner. And that is what we will be discussing. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Soni ma'am, for helping us understand the corporate governance and implementation of ethics at Tata Steel.
Now I would request our chief guest, Mr. Amit Raj Sinha, Managing Director and CEO at Sigachi Industries, to deliver the keynote address addressing the conference theme.
Sure. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's wonderful to be here. Wonderful to listen to such good talks. We usually don't have such talks across in the industry. It really peps you up. I would like to thank Father S. George, Director XLRI, and all the visiting dignitaries, researchers, scholars, industry experts, and institution, JRG Tata Foundation for Business Ethics, and XLRI Jamshedpur, and its partnering institutions from across the world, and the students. I would also take this opportunity to extend a warm welcome to Ms. Soni. It's an honor to have you here, ma'am. I'll be touching upon the topic enabling a social and business responsibility in a globalized world with an industry perspective. I think a lot has been spoken in the last 45 minutes to an hour. However, whatever I speak will be more with respect to the industry perspective, because that is what I bring in. So what constitutes ethics and responsibility in business? Like we have spoken, it's not just business, it's all walks of life, all sectors of society that needs to be enlightened about what actually constitutes ethics and responsibility. When we are enlightened, we head towards that path. Rushworth Kidder, founder of Institute of Global Ethics and author of the book, How Good People Make Tough Choices, has indicated that there are 4 ethical dilemmas. Very simple, very basic, but they're genuinely ethical dilemmas. The first one is short-term versus long-term. Second one is individual versus community. Truth versus loyalty. Justice versus mercy. As you can see, that there's a very thin line in these dilemmas. So it's technically right versus right. So how do you manage to have a decision when there is right versus right? No, we again go back to certain principles of decision making when it's a right versus right. I speak right versus right because I believe both sides are right. But how do you take a decision when both sides are right? That gets very, very difficult and challenging, because either ways, you're going to be wrong. So the principle base is, first is ends-based thinking. Do whatever produces the greatest good for the greatest number. Rule-based thinking. Follow only the principle that you want everyone else to follow. Care-based thinking, putting love ahead of everything else. So how do you go about incorporating ethics and responsibility in the business? Ms. Soni spoke on these points. I have something similar to bring in from the industry perspective. First and foremost, we need to have a mission and a purpose. So how do you go about working on this mission and purpose? I'll talk about the concentric circle, the golden circle. The golden circle is 3 concentric circles with the bull's eye in the center. The outer circle is the what, the center one is the how, and the bull's eye is the why, the purpose. Why is it that we do what we do? What is our overall purpose, our objective? If that is clear, everything else aligns. Human beings over the last more than thousands of years have continued to prosper and grow. What do you think would be the prime reason that we have continued to prosper and grow than the other species? Is it our intellect? It's our adaptability? Or is it something else? I believe it's because we are social animals. We have the ability to form cultures and communities around us. Nobody else has that. Well then, what's a culture? What's a community? Community is a group of people who have common set of values and beliefs. What's a small team? It's again a group of people with a common set of values and belief. What's a company? It's a group of people with a common set of values and belief. What's an institute? A group of people with a common set of values and belief. Likewise for our country. So when we have a group of people who believe in one's particular common set of values and belief, something remarkable happens. Trust emerges. Trust is a human feeling. It's a human experience. And when you have trust, you go all out to your mission. You move ahead, you take risk, knowing well that in case you don't come back, your people will be taken care. I mean, you can even do that, you can go all out, take risk, but then it will be every man for himself. So trust becomes a very important factor in binding this, and this is what translates to the purpose being implemented. Creating and maintaining core values. I bring this out again. At Segachi, our purpose over the last 35 years has been to create a healthier, happier, and a joyful world. But within the boundaries of our core values of excellence, respect, integrity, resourcefulness. Everything that we do in Segachi is within these boundaries with the common overall bigger purpose of healthier, happier, and a joyful world. It is probably because of that, for the last 35 years, we are where we are. But it's okay. It's okay. There's nothing big we need to achieve. Our objective is going back to creating healthier, happier, and a joyful world. Another important point that needs to be brought out is to be able to communicate it to all stakeholders, our purpose and our values. So a lot of time, my team members, when they see me speaking, they always come back and tell, you speak the same story again and again, again and again. I mean, if you listen to my talk, we just had a foundation day some days back, we had a sports day, a family day, and in all the 3 talks, 50% of my talk was about my purpose and the values we need to be holding. So people generally know what I'm going to speak because I just end up speaking on these things, but it is very important to be conveying it again and again to our leadership, to the new people who join in, to the new companies who come together, because they start believing in it. If you don't convey it on and on again, it probably doesn't come in, it doesn't get digested. And the last one is focusing on the impact of the local communities, giving back. Like I spoke earlier, when there is trust, there is loyalty. And when there is loyalty, you have the urge to give back. It's a natural phenomenon, it's a human nature that when there is loyalty, when there is trust, that urge to come and give back to the people who were part of the activities, who were part of our local communities, who were part of our surroundings, we wish to give them back because we would like to take them along, everybody moving ahead. When we do all this, there are bound to be challenges. How do you work on those challenges? How do you plan and have mitigation plan for those challenges? Stakeholder management, balancing interest of diverse stakeholders, investors, NGO, government, regulatory bodies with short-term financials and long-term responsibilities. Complex supply chain issues, difficulty in ensuring ethical sourcing practices across geographical diverse locations. Evolving regulations. I'm sure all of us are aware geopolitics plays a very active role. It's such a dynamic situation where we are not very sure of what are the regulations which come in terms of the politicians changing the rules of the game, and suddenly what was a good supply chain is suddenly lost, or what was a good customer is suddenly lost because that region gets banned. How do you balance that out? Cultural sensitivity becomes very important because you need to manage global practices with local customs. Cost implications, of course, comes into business, and an increased cost associated with ethical sourcing, right sources, becomes imperative. Once we have the business responsibility in place, it's very important to see that we translate it into sustainability. In our interconnected world, businesses are no longer mere economic actors, but crucial contributors to societal well-being and transformation. Dr. Tara Nair, Director Research of Work Fair and Free Foundation, in her essay on binding stakeholders into moral communities, had indicated that there are CSPs, corporate social performance parameters, which could perhaps help businesses by exploring underlying interactions among the three dimensions. Well, what are those? First is the principles, the ESG responsibilities and philosophical orientation of this. The processes, corporate social responsiveness and institutional orientation, and the policies, social issue management and organizational orientation. At Segachi, we don't just have the concept of single bottom line or bottom line. We have the concept of triple bottom line, the 3 Ps: people, planet, and profits. When we have people, planet, and profits as the triple bottom line, all your purpose gets aligned. Everything falls in place. We become more bearable, equitable, and viable. And that's the overall purpose of every business. Call to action. We need to build and run businesses so that ESG is embedded into every activity that we do, in every decision that we take, such that the department ESG becomes irrelevant. It gets so ingrained that ESG doesn't really need to be a department. EcoVadis and Great Places to Work certifications thus become a byproduct and not really the end game of our purpose. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. It was wonderful talking to you all.
Thank you so much, Amit Raj, sir. And it was truly inspiring to understand the triple bottom line that you have just said. I'm sure there will be a lot of questions about triple bottom line from the audience in some time. I would now like to request Father Kuruvilla, Chair Professor of GRD Tata Foundation on Business Ethics, to come and address the audience here.
But how do we get into this into that?
Hello. Yeah, this is working, Father.
Where is my PPT?
Your PPT, just one moment.
What about Jeff these? Jeff these?
After yours, we will make Jeff. IT team, can you just please come and switch on the PPT? Yeah. Right, and yeah, एक मिनट आप शेयर कर दीजिए. Yeah, thank you.
Sharing?
Just one moment. Please share it in the Zoom. I'm not sure if the Zoom participants would be able to see that. We'll start in a moment. We are just, you know. Huh? Okay, we have any other IT team? to help?
कहाँ से लगे पोस्ट यहीं से था.
So, good morning, and I'm very happy that all of you have come. I just want to, I will give you a little bit on the whole program outline, but before that I want to share with you some of the difficulties that you yourself had, just like the minor difficulty we are having just now. At least 4 different groups, their flights were diverted from Ranchi to Howrah, and they are still traveling. And 2 others had to cancel their trip altogether because their flight was cancelled at the last moment. It is only to bring to our attention that those who have come here, yes, they had to struggle a little bit and even more, and still you managed to come here. Thank you very much. There is also another issue with all our modern technology, you know, we cannot totally rely on it, and that is the whole aspect of internet, which we really cherish, which we do make use of to the maximum, especially at the COVID time. So, we are supposed to have one keynote presentation online, but luckily we have also got it actually recorded. Professor Jeff Thies, he will be talking to us, but then because of this difficulty he cannot be alive online. He will still have his recorded conversation. With that, let me take to what I wanted to say. that is this topic, the conceptualization in terms of enabling social and business responsibility in our globalized world. The first point I want to bring ourselves to the consciousness is the total registration for this conference, which was floated about 7 months ago, is 950. The total panelists who would be addressing us, 7. Keynote speakers are 8. 6 of the keynote speakers from outside, and 5 of the keynote speakers are online. The total number of abstracts and papers are 108, but here, because of unforeseen circumstances, it would be only about 80 will be presented. The number of institutions represented would be 85. This would be the list of the keynote addresses. The first one is what I was referring to, Professor Jeff Thies. He has got a doctorate in divinity. He is the director of IBES Loyola Marymount University, Los Angeles. Then these are the CEOs or CXOs for our panel discussion. We have the special messages read out to us, summarized by Dr. Jerry Coutinho. Then the keynote addresses and parallel sessions. This I really want you to pay attention to. All the keynote addresses will be held at this hall. The parallel sessions, we have 6 tracks and 5 of them. You can find where they are located on this abstract sheet. On the first line of them, for example, the first parallel session number 1, you have the first line itself, the room number. All the rooms are in the same building, either in this floor or below. So the numbers are clearly marked for the 5 parallel sessions. And the time allotted is about 15. Since a few of the participants may not turn out, say the time can be flexible, that will be decided by the chair. But 10 minutes of presentation followed by 5 minutes of interaction. Some of the participants may come online, and unfortunately some of the participants may not be also online. It was very difficult for the team, the peace team, to go through all the 160 full version of the articles, to go through the revisions and the re-revisions of it. As for the publication of the articles published here, presented here, we have assurance from one Scopus Index journal, that is our own MLS from XLRI, that they would publish a few of the quality articles. Another Scopus Index edited book from Paris, they have also offered to publish about 15 to 20 quality articles. Then a journal from Kerala, Omega, is willing to publish about 7 of our articles, and then we are also planning to bring out an edited book. Some prizes has been offered to the best articles and case studies. You would be requested to revise the articles, resubmit. We will look into consideration the published worthiness of it, and the results will be announced after about, say, 4 or 5 months. I thank you for your understanding. This is the book of abstracts. You all would have got it as soft copy. About 85 book of abstracts are printed. This is actually the cover of the book on the souvenir of this conference, Excellence and Integrity for the Greater Good. It consists of two parts. Part one deals with the reflections and experiences of people mostly in the industry and in the academia on this topic of responsibility, integrity, and ethics. Part two, the orations and the messages, they consist of the summary, just the summary of 31 ethics orations we had at XLRI. As you know, the foundation, J.R.D. Tata Foundation for Business Ethics, started in 1991, began with the establishment of the first ethics oration. Fortunately for us, the first ethics oration was given by J.R.D. Tata himself in 1991. So from that year onwards, with the one exception of the COVID year, every year we had been having this oration, and I have made a brief summary, just 2-page summary of the ethics orations. The last two articles are actually just the summary, 2-page summary of the messages given by the Vice President when he visited XLRI and the Governor when he visited XLRI, that is a couple of months ago. Finally, my request, we have come from different parts of India, and at XLRI and the extended family, we are very happy to have you here. Do meet, share your experiences, and feel the responsibility that we are privileged to be here, privileged to be called, and privileged to be special. Therefore, we have a responsibility for one another, responsibility for the others, particularly the less privileged. Therefore, the challenge to be concerned of the community, to be concerned of the country with compassion, with commitment. Can we live our lives worthy of respect and reverence for one another, for the planet, and for God Himself? The triple peace that we just heard about. Therefore, let's together make it a successful venture, this conference, an enriching and enabling experience for all. Thank you once again for coming and for writing and submitting the full version. Some of you have already revised it 6 times, and it was a privilege to be in touch with you. And for me, it was not merely a learning experience, but an act of love. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Father, for that setting the context for this conference. We will now play a pre-recorded video of Professor Jeff Thies. I will quickly introduce Professor Jeff Thies. So Professor Jeff Thies is a clinical assistant professor in the Department of Management at the College of Business Administration, Loyola Marymount University, Los Angeles. He holds a BA, MA, and MDiv degrees from St. John's College in Camarillo, California, and a DMin from Claremont School of Theology. He has held executive management positions in the direct mail marketing and healthcare industries, developing leadership formations and professional development. He has held multiple leadership positions, such as Board of Chair at the Ministry of Leadership Center and latest at the Loyola Institute for Spirituality. And we will look forward for his pre-recorded message. Just a moment, we may pause it.
Of this International Ethics Conference.
Yeah, let's play from the beginning.
So,
Full screen.
Dear Director, XLRI, board members, and distinguished participants of this International Ethics Conference, celebrating the 75th Jubilee of XLRI. This recording is coming to you from Los Angeles, California, and my name is Jeff Thies, Clinical Associate Professor of Management for the College of Business Administration and Director of the Institute for Business Ethics and Sustainability of Loyola Marymount University, Los Angeles, California. It is a great honor for me and for us to bring this message to you and to support and participate in this International Conference of Business Ethics. Business ethics means many things. It's applied in diverse categories, diverse industries, with multiple issues, challenges, opportunities, and complexities. Teaching business ethics means that we need to engage the complexities and bring values-based reasoning to the issues that lead to meaningful engagement of impact on behalf of the business enterprise. And so I have developed this applied ethics framework based on my experience as a senior executive in the US healthcare industry. I am a clinical professor, which means that I am a business professional, now teaching full-time in the College of Business Administration. I am a former healthcare executive, and before that, a marketing executive, and sought to create a framework that would enable both business professionals and students to think about business ethics as an integrated set of applied operational practices that's the responsibility of executives to understand, engage, implement, and oversee. So that when we ask students or business professionals, what is business ethics? Which allows, of course, many answers. One of the answers that we seek to have both executives and students understand is that it is a set of applied practices. And so what are those applied practices, and what is the focus and the direction of those practices? This framework is intended to answer that question. The framework was developed, as I said, based on my experience as a healthcare executive. In the United States, healthcare, especially the service or provider side of healthcare, is largely delivered through private industry. I was an executive with a California-based healthcare system that had 23,000 employees, integrated hospitals, medical offices, and assorted community benefit outreach operations that operated in 3 states, comprising 23,000 employees and generating an annual revenue of about $5.2 billion. These are large, complex organizations. This framework was developed from that experience, also in consultation with chief ethics officers and faculty partners, and also in consultation with business executives. In fact, when I presented this framework and this understanding of business ethics represented in this framework to some of the original founding sponsors of our institute, their response was, this is exactly what we understand business ethics to be. And so I hope that this is a tool for you and for your businesses and for your classrooms. I will walk through the tool and then explain one way in which this is used in the classroom. So this applied ethics framework is designed with society and the environment at its core. This suggests that the activities of the business enterprise and the responsibilities of the business enterprise are responsible to social and environmental responsibility, but also are informed by the needs both of society and the environment. That the environment and society are really the focal point of all human activity and certainly of the activity of business. The framework is designed with 6 dimensions, and it's designed in a bit of a circular design to suggest that each of these are meant to inform the other, that the process is meant to be iterative and ongoing, and that there's no specific hierarchy. These are not numbered 1 through 6 as though the practitioner or the business would start with 1 and work through 6. Rather, the entry point to all of the dimensions of this framework can be made through any of these dimensions. The framework also suggests that for an organization to appropriately implement integrated operational business ethics practices, the business needs to advance each of these dimensions. And so I'll share these dimensions and some examples and experiences that I've had related to this. And again, like I say, an application in the classroom, hoping that this will be of benefit to all of you participants as you advance the work of business ethics with all of the expertise that you bring to this important field. So one dimension is that of leadership. And here the focus of that is on the individual business leader. This is the personal dimension of business ethics. What are the core values of the leader? What is the commitment to ongoing moral development of the leader? How does the leader operate with a true north, a true sense of what's important, both in her or his life, and how that needs to be represented in terms of the way in which the leader brings integrity to the organization? It connects with it a set of professional competencies. And I really like the way in which it's articulated by some business ethics colleagues. There's an accompanying paper coming with this presentation, and you can see in the footnotes the work of the authors of the book, Business Ethics Field Guide. And they articulate 3 business leadership competencies. The first is the ability to recognize an ethical issue. The second is the ability to make an ethical decision. This, of course, includes all of the dimensions of moral reasoning in the application of ethical principles to business ethics decision-making. And the third is the ability to be persuasive, the ability to speak to these issues and both encourage and motivate the organization to live to its values, and that the business professionals would live appropriate to their values as well. This is the dimension of personal skill and personal integrity. And we know that the ethical climate of organizations and that the decisions that they make are really informed by the fundamental integrity of the leader and the constancy in decision-making that the leader brings to the organization. And we know that the best organizational design can be compromised by leaders who don't represent that. And so this initial dimension, personal leadership. The second dimension is that of culture. And this is the area of organizational ethics. Just like we ask of the individual, and we should ask of ourselves, what do I really believe? And how do I really represent that in the decisions that I make? Do I have the courage of conviction to stand firm to the true north that guides my life and my professional practice? That same question, of course, is brought before every organization. What does the organization believe? What is the true north of the organization? One way, of course, we articulate that is what's the mission, vision, and values of the organization. And then this section looks at additional dimensions. First, the HR dimension of hiring for fit, developing talent development programs and processes that reward and incentivize the behavior that fundamentally reflects the mission and the values. And then all of the compensation and the different kinds of incentivizing that we see in organizations that would then be aligned also with the mission and the values. And then another critical kind of element of this is, what does the organization celebrate? What are its key rituals? What does it acknowledge? In my last organization, One of the largest celebrations of the year before all of our boards of directors and senior executives was our Values Award Banquet, where the 4 greatest representations of our 4 key values were recognized in employees who represented that and were celebrated at our annual banquet.
We'll be providing the complete session after this. We'll be providing the link after that. Moving forward, I'd like to call Professor H.K. Pradhan, Chairman, Jubilee Year Conferences, XLRI, for vote of thanks.
Usually, you clap after the speaker, but I know why you clapped my speech. Really, we are grateful to all of you to have come over here, all the presenters, speakers, and making this event really very meaningful to all of us. And I must thank Father Kuruvilla. You know, I'm sure you would have seen him taking care of you as you arrive here. You will see his care while you are here, and he will not leave you without care until you reach home. I just happen to know some students that he teaches first year. I don't teach first year. So I was once waiting outside, then I asked how is his class going, because he was new. And then the students are summed up saying that he is very nice. And they didn't tell me what he taught. And I remembered my primary school teachers. I don't remember what they taught, but I just remember them. That's, I think, is an extremely beautiful part of him, Father Kuru, as a good person. And I must also thank Father Jerry, and Father George, Father Donald. I'm sure all of you know, most of us know, that he has put an enormous activity in this 75 years of celebration. And I think all of us would remember this year, a lot of activities, hard work has gone in. I just thought that I was so inspired to listen. I think all of us were inspired to listen to our speakers. And let me just sum up with 2-3 of my own feelings about this whole world of sustainability. You know, when we were students, and this word, I am a student of economics, I think Professor Santanu is here. I don't know whether microeconomics or macroeconomics textbook had a word sustainability. And we never knew that there is something called, even ethics I thought it was parental, guidance to us, that you should be ethical. And when I landed in this institute way back in '95, and there were Father Syriac, then there were so many fathers here, and then we learned that there is something called ethics. And then when you look around the values of Tata, and there was only one company that you can take an example when it came to business ethics. Today there are a lot of new age companies, a lot of companies have come up with code of ethics, big placard, but I think those days, I think you were absolutely right. There was only one company that we thought, living here in Jamshedpur, the business ethics. So we were really imbibed by the values of Tata and many other ways that we have. Now, this word sustainability, I'm sure over the next 2 days you will deliberate a lot. I thought it was argued as a process that would stay longer. That something would survive, not just short term, but in the long run. But the whole world post-COVID has put up a new acronym around it, or new kind of concept around it, that you have to also sustain for generations. That as a generation, you should not consume everything. You should leave something for the next. As a company, because of your motivations to exhaust, you shouldn't be using all environmental resources, etc., and then create negative externalities so that tomorrow's generations don't have anything else. And I think that has become extremely imperative, and no wonder, globally, everyone, including corporate leaders, have come up with this conclusion that we have to be ethical, we have to be sustainable. I think you all would debate that in India, those who set up companies, I think there are a lot of company people here, there are a whole lot of hundreds of laws that you have to comply before you even set up a company, whether it is environmental standards, using water, everything, power, everything is there. But why we were careless? I think we did it by duress. We did it by regulations, we did it by pressures, we did it by law. But even then, the violations are plenty. I am sure we know what all happened in the governance standards, environmental standards, societal values, etc., etc. But I think the key question is, it all depends on that concept I think Sinasa told, that the why of it. That I think today the time has come that we must ask this why. And I think I'm tempted to share a small story. Some 40 years before, when I was a student in Pune, and one of our professors told us, I still remember that story. He visited Bhutan, and he is a very famous professor, used to visit all over the world. And he says, look, he asked a simple questions to the students of class, the school students and he says, look, I'm asking you a simple mathematics, arithmetic, that if you purchase 10 liters of milk at 5 rupees a kilo and mix 10 liters of water and then sell it, what is your profit? And the students quickly got into pencil paper and says, okay, 10 into 550, and then you sold it at 10 rupees, so it is 100, 50 rupees the profit. And everybody in the class was saying 50 rupees profit. So this teacher, he's a very clever guy, and then he says, is it? But there was one student, he was quiet, and he went to him and asked, why are you not saying anything? You know what he says? He says he should be jailed. There is no profit when you mix water. See, this is called why. See, unless, you see, this is what is called ethics, where the law ends, the ethics begin. So if you, that is the when everybody can violate the compliance. Father Donald was trying to say this. So the ethics begin when the law actually ends. And it is left to individuals. It had left to the leaders in the companies who could do it. You all know the Volkswagen case. You all know there's so many cases of Opel and Enron. So all of these violations of ethics became of the leader. So you comply with the law, but that is beyond law is ethics. All of these are now coming. I'm sure in the next two days you will discuss on things like diversity, equity, and inclusion. It's so important as societal values that we have to be inclusive in a society. We cannot be exclusive when we want to grow. The nations, the cake must be shared. How can you, I'm just giving a simple, maybe a little emotional appeal. How can you have 50, 60 years people waiting for a house, for a small health care, I'm sure you would have seen COVID time, how people walked from one part of the country to another barefoot. I mean, this is India, or this is elsewhere in the world. So I think this is everything important. We have come to realize the whole Indian mythological, the old story of that you have to respect Panchabhuta. And even our parents used to tell us that you preserve the earth, the Prithvi, they preserve the water, which is Jal. You respect Agni, because that is the source of energy, the fire. You respect the sky, that is the Akasha, and you respect the air. Because if you have no cooperation of these five, the whole human life will disappear. And it is, I think, endeavor that we must teach our children, we must teach our families, we must teach our neighbors, teach everybody else how to stay in a society and leave something for our children, if not anybody else. And I think this is something which all of you will discuss over the next 2 days. Thank you very much. We really like your presence in XLRI. We appreciate. Thank you. You have a great day. Thank you, Father.
Thank you so much, Professor. And thank you for letting us know the examples and the ethical implications for that. There are two quick announcements. First, participants are requested to upload their presentations in the Google form and keep the presentations handy in a pen drive. We will now proceed for a group photograph in front of LC2, and post that we'll have tea, and then we will start our sessions exactly at 11:20 in respective chair rooms. I would request everybody, all the dignitaries and everyone, to come towards LC2. Yeah. Thank you.